Loneliness is often imagined as something obvious, a person with no friends, no relationships, no social connection, but many men experience a different kind of loneliness, a quieter one, a loneliness that can exist even when life appears full. A man may have friends, a partner, a career, responsibilities. Yet somewhere beneath all of this activity, something feels strangely isolated. This kind of loneliness is rarely discussed openly, not because it is rare, but because many men struggle to explain it. Many men experience a form of loneliness that is difficult to describe. It is not the loneliness of having no people around. It is the loneliness of carrying thoughts and emotions that rarely leave the mind. A man may have friends. He may have a partner. He may appear socially connected, but emotional conversations between men are often limited. Instead of discussing inner struggles, many conversations stay focused on activities, work, sports, daily events. Over time, deeper emotions remain unspoken, and a quiet isolation can grow. Loneliness is not always about being alone. Sometimes it is about not being understood. Emotional communication between men. Many male friendships operate differently from emotionally expressive relationships. They are often activity-based, shared experiences, shared humor, shared interests. These friendships can be meaningful and loyal, but they may not always include deep emotional discussions. As a result, when personal struggles appear, many men handle them privately. They do not necessarily lack support, but they lack a habit of expressing vulnerability. Male friendships often emphasize loyalty and shared experience rather than, emotional disclosure. Friends may support each other through action, helping with practical problems, offering advice, spending time together. But conversations about deeper emotional struggles may happen less frequently. This does not mean the friendships are weak. It simply means emotional language may not always be practiced. And without practice, emotional expression becomes difficult. Emotions that are not expressed can create quiet isolation, the pressure of self-reliance. Many men are also taught to value independence, handle problems, solve difficulties, move forward. These lessons encourage resilience, but they can also create a belief that personal struggles should be handled privately. When stress appears, many men instinctively withdraw internally, not because they want isolation, but because independence feels like responsibility. Independence is often seen as a masculine virtue, being able to solve problems, handle stress, remain stable. These qualities are admirable. But independence can slowly turn into isolation when emotional support disappears. A man may believe he should manage everything himself, even when pressure becomes heavy, even when uncertainty appears. The result is quiet emotional distance, not from others, but from the possibility of sharing the burden. Self-reliance is powerful, but no one is designed to carry everything alone. The difficulty of emotional language. Another challenge many men face is simply the lack of emotional vocabulary. If a person spends years focusing on action rather than emotional reflection, describing feelings becomes difficult, not impossible, but unfamiliar. So instead of explaining what they feel, many men focus on solving problems or continuing forward, even when something inside them remains unresolved. Emotional awareness grows through practice. If someone regularly reflects on their emotions, describing them becomes easier. But if emotional reflection rarely occurs, those feelings become harder to articulate. Many men grow up developing practical skills, work, problem solving, responsibility, but emotional language may receive less attention. Without that language, expressing loneliness becomes difficult, and feelings that cannot be expressed often remain hidden. Understanding your emotions is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. A healthier direction. Loneliness does not always require dramatic solutions. Often it begins to change through small shifts, more honest conversations, more openness about personal experiences, more willingness to share internal struggles. These moments gradually reduce the distance between people. Many men believe emotional openness will weaken their image, but the opposite is often true. When someone shares honestly about their experiences, Trust deepens. Conversations become more meaningful. Connections become stronger. Loneliness begins to dissolve when people realize they are not carrying their thoughts alone. Connection begins where honest conversation starts. Let's close here. Loneliness among men often hides behind normal life, responsibilities, work, friendships, daily routines. But emotional connection requires something deeper than activity. It requires understanding. And when men learn to share their inner experiences more openly, something powerful happens. The quiet loneliness begins to disappear because human connection grows strongest when people feel seen and understood.